friends, just want to welcome you to my course. My name is Lauren Laboda. I live in Northeast Ohio, which is in between Cleveland and Akron. And my husband and I are expecting our 9th child due at the end of August of 2023. And I work as a life coach. I partner with people to help them get them where they want to be, just like a sports coach, encouraging them, cheering them on, and helping them see what's holding them back. If you have any areas of your life that you want to be better, happier, have more fun, have more joy, have less stress, less struggles, and if you want to learn how to handle future depression and anxiety, life coaching is for you. So I hope you will be open to what God might be saying to you, to what you might be learning, how you might be changing, how you might be able to grow, and just all the information that you're going to get in these videos and with these handouts. So enjoy, and thanks for coming. Hi, and welcome to my mini mindset course. And this is geared towards elementary and middle school and high school kids. So if you are a tween or a teen, this is for you. You can call me Miss Lauren or Life Coach Mama. And in this first course, we are just going to start talking about the mind. Okay, so what's going on in our brains that allows us to feel a certain way, and then usually we take those feelings and act on them. So this is just 15 minutes, but I have some visuals for you. You might be looking at them on a computer or a phone, or if they've been printed out. The first one I want to talk about is the cognitive behavior triangle. Okay, so this has been around for quite a while, and counselors use this and other people that work in the helping field to help people understand how their thoughts lead to their feelings, and that leads to their actions. So a lot of times when a coach wants to help you, whether it's a life coach or a health coach or a sports coach wants to help you do the best you can in your sport, they're going to encourage you and stay alongside you like a partner. And that's what I do as a life coach. But we also ask you what's going on in your mind. Because a lot of times when you're not doing your best in your baseball or your basketball or your soccer or dance or your instrument, it has to do with what you're thinking. Okay, and it's not just about having positive thoughts or self-confidence. It's more than that. It's really analyzing and looking at what your thoughts are and what you're believing, what you're taking into your brain and what you're holding in your heart, how that makes you feel and how that makes you act. Okay, so I want you to really look at that triangle and see how the thoughts, feelings, and actions are all connected, 1, 2, and 3. And they're going to be playing off each other. Because this applies to you whether you're 9, 19, 29, 99. Because why? You are always going to have the brain with you while you're alive. You're always going to have your feelings going on inside you, right? And what you do with them is important. So whether it leads you to do well in school or well in sports or do well socially with friends or to enjoy life and just be happy and like your life and like the people in your life and have good friendships all around. And so this is an invaluable skill. And really it can start even younger than the age you are now. But I think because some of what I talk about has to do with neuroscience, which is brain science, and psychology, which is the study of human behavior, and some of it is a little more in depth and deep, and you have to have those critical thinking skills and the ability to really look and take a step back and look at yourself. So I think this is a good age to start all of that. Okay, so again, we're going to start with the brain. Okay, so what are some facts about the brain? Well, did you know there are 96 billion neurons that are firing all over in your brain? There's a lot going on there, okay? And what does your brain do? Well, we know what it does, right? It's for thinking, it helps all the organs work, it stores memories, it makes judgments, right? It helps you plan your future, okay? But to make it real simple for this course and what we do in mindset coaching is we just look at really 2 parts of the brain, sometimes 3. The 2 parts you'll see in another handout is that there's a thinking brain and a feeling brain. Okay, so to be fancy, we'll let you know that that is the prefrontal cortex, which is thinking, and the amygdala, which is the feeling. Okay, so there's one that's more emotional, Maybe it has to do with the memory too, and where maybe you will go. And that part of your brain is where you'll go when you are in a stress response. So when you're stressed out and you're not calm, you're there. And I said there was a third part. Sometimes we refer to the survival part of the brain, right? So that's the brain stem, that very first part. And that very important part that connects us to the rest of our bodies. And obviously, it's called the survival brain because it's where we go when we're in survival mode. Now, there's a term along with neuroscience that you might have heard of called evolutionary biologists. And it's a fancier term for the people who study the behavior of humans since the beginning. So we all know God created us and that we're created in his image. But we know as Catholics that we believe that we have not necessarily been created literally in 7 days. The world wasn't created as some of our Protestant friends believe. And so we know that we have evolved in a way where we maybe were living in the Ice Age with the woolly mammoths, and now we're in 2023 with iPhones and cars and air conditioning and computers and advanced medicine. But there was a time when cave people were living, and our ancestors, or even after that, when our ancestors were still trying to survive the elements and wondering if avalanches were going to fall, rocks were going to fall, predators were going to come, another tribe was going to get them, and they had to always be on the lookout and be in survival mode. But our brain still has that part, and it still wants to know, are we safe? Are we going to die? And a lot of times we will have moments where we feel unsafe or like our life is threatened, and it's not. You might know those as anxiety or panic attacks, or maybe just when you have thoughts that you're not fitting in socially, or that you're not going to do well in a test or in a sport, and you're thinking, oh no, I'm going to die. But we know from studying the brain that that's just the brain stem being activated, and we need to, again, get into that prefrontal cortex where we can plan and make decisions. So if you have ever thought about your thoughts, then you've been doing mindset coaching. If you haven't, then we're going to do that today. We're going to do some thinking about our thinking. So I want you to try to guess how many thoughts you have per day, if you were to guess. I know it's kind of a big question to ask, but if, believe it or not, neuroscientists were able to study how many thoughts we have on average. It's about 70,000. So 70,000 thoughts is a lot. And the other thing the scientists realize is that not only do we have a ton of thoughts, of course now they're not all conscious, right? They don't all come to the forefront of our mind. They might be swirling in the back there, coming and going and passing through. But 70,000 thoughts. But what they've also learned is that they tend to be negative. So the majority, more than half, for most people are negative. Right? And that's not good. And then on top of that, they tend to be thoughts that we had the day before, or weeks or months before, years before. So they're habits, ways of thinking. Okay, so a lot of times in life coaching, it's a matter of thinking about our thinking, examining our thinking, recognizing we have a lot of thoughts, and not all of them are true, not all of them are positive, not all of them are helpful. So a lot of what I will ask in coaching to my clients is this thought true, and is it helpful? Okay, so when you're writing out your triangle, which you'll see in the other worksheet where it says thoughts, feelings, and actions, you want to ask yourself, the negative thoughts you're having, are they true? Are they helpful? Because they might be true, but they might not be helpful. So we always want to make sure we look at that. So going back to cognitive behavior theory, again, psychologists have been using this since 1960s, and counselors will use it to help people, and coaches will use it. And a lot of people who are, like I said, in the helping field, someone who's trying to help you break a bad habit, to stop doing something that's not good for you, that's harmful for you. If you want to eat healthier, you want to exercise more, okay, they're going to be looking at your thoughts. Okay, so you have that handout with the triangle. So what I want you to do is I want you to take a situation And we have to remember that the situation is not going to change, because we want to learn and train our brains and get in the habit of seeing how our thoughts are creating our feelings and how those create our actions. Okay, we don't want to keep blaming the situation. So-and-so said this, my sister took this from me, my mom won't let me do this, my dad said this, my coach for my sport is making us do this, okay? The weather is like this, the time of year, my birthday, problem with my phone, problem with the weather. Okay, no. We don't want to focus on the situation. We want to focus on our thoughts. So how can we take back control of the situation that's usually outside of our control and isn't changing, and change our thoughts? Okay, so you're going to write down your situation on that first piece of paper, and you're going to write down all your negative thoughts, negative feelings, so anything unpleasant, sad, angry, frustrated, upset, annoyed, bored, anything that you don't really like to have in terms of thoughts and feelings. And then when you do the second worksheet, again, the situation does not change. So you write down the same situation, whatever your problem is, whatever your issue is, whatever you're struggling with, write that down again. So it should be the same for page 1 as it is for page 2, the situation. But you're going to write down positive thoughts, positive feelings. Okay? And what I want you to do when you're doing that is to think, oh, I see how the thoughts are connected to the actions, not the situation. Okay, so you're going to look at those thoughts, see what feelings they lead to, and then inevitably what actions they lead to. So how are your behaviors happening because of what you're thinking? Okay, so that's what that exercise is going to do. So you're going to want to take some time to go through your thoughts. This might take 10 minutes, 20 minutes. You might have to think about another time, or you might have to take another time in the day if you don't have time right now to write it all out. And it would be good to talk to your parent about it. It would be good for them to help you kind of write it out, kind of think it through, especially with the feelings. Sometimes it's hard to name feelings, and if we still haven't been taught all the different types of feelings there are and kind of how they feel, and we haven't really learned how to process them, it might be hard to name them, write them down. So you might need to work with your parent and take some time to write out those feelings, and then be really honest with yourself. What actions are going to come from those feelings? And this is called thought work or mindset work, mindset management, and this is the basis of all life coaching. So you can take any problem, and it doesn't matter what area of your life it's in or who we're talking about, or if it's just a problem you have within yourself. Any problem that you want to tackle, go ahead and write it out. So the situation again is going to be the same in page 1 with the first thoughts, feelings, and actions sheet. And then you write down the same situation in page 2, but the thoughts, feelings, and actions are going to be different. Okay, so we want to go from a negative to a positive. And the only thing I want to say about that is if you feel like it's too hard to go from I really messed up, I really don't like myself, I'm not a good student, I'm not a good child, I'm not a good friend, to I'm the best student, child, friend, athlete, ever. Okay, so if you're having a hard time, so in that case, you want to work on a bridge thought. So it's just what it sounds like. You're bridging yourself from one thought to the next. So you're going to go from a negative to a positive on the bridge. Okay, and so what do you do in a bridge thought? You tell yourself, I'm working on this. I'm trying this. I want to this. Okay, so whatever bridges you from the negative to the positive. So there's some examples there. And another handout, you can look at those. And that's for when you get to worksheet 2. So when you're doing positive feelings, positive thoughts, positive actions, okay? You start with the thoughts, and if you're having a hard time finding a positive thought for your situation, you're going to use a bridge thought, okay? I want to be a better student. I'm working on being better at running. I'm trying this new instrument, okay? I believe I can do this kind of thing. So that is lesson 1, the power of the brain. Some basic mindset management and thought work.